Both Lewis soccer teams competed in the GLVC tournament this weekend, and the swim teams hosted their first home meets. We'll have the latest in Lewis athletics coming up right now.
Hello and welcome to Flyer Nation, your source for the latest news in Lewis athletics. Thanks for joining us here on LUTN and online. I'm Shane Gustafson.
And I'm Natalie Budig. Joining us later on in the show is head cross-country coach James Kearney. He'll talk about the season as a whole and what it's like for the team to host the GLVC Championships this upcoming weekend.
But before we get to that, let's take a look at some other Flyer sports headlines. The Lewis men's soccer team competed in the first round of the GLVC tournament over the weekend, taking on the two-time tournament champion Rockhurst. The Hawks started the match strong against Lewis and outshot the Flyers 17-3 and had 8 corner kicks. Despite outshooting the Flyers, the score was tied at 0 throughout most of the game until Lewis senior forward George Thompson kicked in the game-winning goal in the 77th minute off a penalty kick to pick up the victory. Head men's soccer coach Evan Feifel said the team had to fight against harsh winds throughout the game, but said he's happy with the way the team fought back to pick up the victory.
We gave up 8 corners in the first half, so it was disappointing, but we hung in there and cut the shutout going into the half. And that's the key when you're fighting that win right there. Can you get to that halftime without them scoring? And I thought we played better. Obviously the win doesn't help you offensively, but defensively it is against their big balls right there. But then we settled down in the second half. I thought we created some good chances right there, and we got that opportunity on the penalty kick and George put it away for us. So.
With the victory, the team will now advance to the semifinal round of the tournament. The men will hit the road and take on the #1 team in the conference, Quincy. That game is scheduled for next Friday, but the time is to be determined.
The women's soccer team closed out their regular season last Wednesday as they took on UW Parkside. The game went to 2 periods of overtime, however, neither teams were able to score, ending the game 0-0 and advancing the Flyers to the GLVC tournament. Head coach Chris Koenig said that he was happy for the group considering the challenges and injuries they've had so far this year. This tie ends a 6-match losing streak against the Rangers for the Flyers. The Flyers then traveled to Wisconsin to take on UW Parkside again on Sunday in the GLVC tournament. This time the team fell 3-0. Head coach Chris Koenig said the Parkside was the strongest team they faced all season and that he is still very proud of his team. The Flyers finished their season with a 5-7-6 record.
The Lewis women's volleyball team was at home this weekend, taking on 2 GLVC opponents from the other division. On Saturday, the ladies welcomed Drury to the Neil Carey Arena and picked up their 20th victory of the season. Freshman Allie Schneider and junior Alexis DeVito led the team with 10 kills each, and senior Amy Choi collected 17 digs on the afternoon. Senior Lee Berea also picked up 14 digs, and the Flyers picked up the 3-0 sweep. On Sunday, the team welcomed Missouri S&T and tried to add another match to their win column. The Flyers dropped the first set to the Miners, but came back in set number 2. Despite 12 kills from DeVito and 10 from redshirt senior Kim Burton, Missouri S&T took the next 2 sets to come away with a 3-1 victory over the Flyers. Head women's volleyball coach Laura Lee Smith said the team made some uncharacteristic errors in the game, which led to the loss.
I think S&T made fewer unforced errors than us. At some key opportune times when we had the chance to take charge of the match, we would just make something that was uncharacteristic of us. We would miss a serve or be in the net. We're usually a little bit better, more efficient of a team, and we just didn't show up that way today.
The team will finish their regular season next weekend when they welcome UIS and McHenry to the Neil Carey Arena. The Flyers game against UIS is at 7 o'clock and Saturday's matchup is at 3.
The men's golf team took part in the Matt Diaz Invitational on Tuesday and finished in 7th place. Junior Alex Thode led the team, shooting a school record of 66 during the final round. Thode finished in a tie for 4th place. Senior Ryan Frederick tied for 19th, while junior Robert Dolfelmeyer III tied for 25th. Senior Jeremy Frazier tied for 66th overall, and senior Anthony Lodovico finished in 79th. Both the men's and women's teams are taking a break before they are back in action this spring.
Both Lewis swim teams hit the water this weekend, taking on a former rival in Grand Valley State University. The women's team won 5 events against the Lakers in their first home meet of the season, but couldn't pick up a victory. Junior Shelby Leonard helped set 2 pool records in her first meet in the Lewis pool and competed in 4 of the 5 events won by the Flyers. However, the team ultimately fell 157 to 105. Despite leading most of the meet, the men's team was trying to keep themselves afloat against the Lakers throughout the next two events. The Flyers picked up a victory in the 200 freestyle to tie the meet with GVSU at 131. Both teams will swim at home next weekend when they take on Valparaiso at 3 p.m. Well, it's good to see the women's soccer team made it to the GLVC tournament this year.
Right, absolutely. I mean, they had a couple different injuries, a lot of unforeseen circumstances that happened, but they were still able to pull through and make it to the tournament, which is awesome for them.
Shows their determination to win, I guess.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk with Lewis head cross country coach James Kearney. Stay tuned.
Hey, this job looks perfect. It says you need people skills.
Check.
Driver's license.
Check.
And a high school diploma or GED.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
I got that.
You are good to go.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Get your ass out. You're not sitting here.
Yes, I am.
Move. Give it to him hard.
No. Ow.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stabbing me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh, you got...
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The cross-country season is almost over, and so far both teams have competed well in their meets this fall. This weekend, the teams will compete in the GLVC tournament hosted for the first time ever here at Lewis University. So if Flyer fans come out to watch the meets, what can they expect? Here to tell us is Lewis head cross-country coach James Kearney. Thanks for joining us today, Coach.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Shane.
Yeah, not a problem. Welcome back. So I guess we'll go ahead and start talking about the season. The last time we talked, we mentioned that there aren't too many events in the season, and now that the regular season is over, how do you think everything went from a coaching perspective?
I was really happy. Some highs, some lows, obviously, with any season. If you have nothing but highs, I don't know if you're in the right business, but I think we learned from some of the mistakes we made early in the season, and I think we've kind of used those things and moved forward from definitely point A to point B. We had some hiccups along the way, but I really think we're on a positive track heading towards a postseason.
So one of the events this fall was the first ever meet here at Lewis University. Yeah. What was that like from a coaching perspective to have such a big event here at Lewis?
Stressful. Just hosting other schools, and it's the first kind of dry run for hosting a conference meet, and so we want to make sure we know how the course runs and what problems could arise the morning of, or anything in terms of rain or inclement weather. So it was stressful. It was a positive experience, so I think we learned quite a bit about the course, and from an administrative point, just kind of what we need to do in terms to put on a good show this weekend.
So you talked about this weekend, the GLVC Championships being held right here at Lewis. That has to be a little bit stressful too, to have such a big event, the championships, right here on campus.
Yeah, absolutely. Stressful but exciting. The nice thing I think for the student athletes' perspective is they sleep in their own beds, they eat the same food that they always eat, they stay in their routine. I think stressful part is me, for coaches, is making sure everything's set up, ready to go. But I much prefer hosting than traveling. I think getting out of your routine really doesn't set you up for as successful of a meet as it could be. So I'm expecting big things this weekend.
So last season, the men's team came in second place in the GLVC Championships. The women placed third, which both, top 5 finishes.
Yeah.
How do you get back to that point this year?
Oh gosh, if I knew, I'd bottle it up and feed it to them every time we go out to the meet. But I think the men are as competitive as ever. We've been ranked in the top 25 this year. It's just a matter of kind of letting the chips fall where they may at this point. The work's already done. It's time to go out there and race. On the women's side, I think it's all about Amanda and Kristen kind of taking care of their jobs up front, and Jamie, Kirsten, Abby, Monica and Paige kind of filling in the rest from there. And, maybe we have a surprise that, I didn't mention. I'm hopeful that happens. I think there's something special going on with that group, and we could see something big.
So you mentioned Amanda Farrow and Kristen Bosner. Both have won the GLVC Runner of the Week awards so far this season. You mentioned that you're expecting big things from them this weekend. How impactful are they to the team as a whole?
They really are the driving force. I think from a coaching perspective, when they have a bad day, I've noticed that the team is just like, oh, I'm not so sure. It's imperative that they both have good days. In terms of, you only have 5 people that score for you. Having 2 of them way up front really cuts the points down for us. And the lowest score wins. I think the lower the number that they bring in, obviously that means we're only scoring 3 runners after that. So they're a huge asset, and like I said, as they go, so goes the team. So they're very important.
So on the men's side, you have James Fredrickson, who's also won the GLVC award this season. What do you expect from him on the men's team?
Yeah, Freddie has had a fantastic year. Just coming from where he was last year as a freshman, kind of experiencing everything on the fly, to a sophomore, put in a huge summer and is really reaping the benefits of that. I think Freddie wouldn't be anywhere without Sean Milhauser and Michael Lead as well. I expect the 3 of them to definitely be contending for a top 15 spot in all conference honors at the meet this weekend.
So after the GLVC Championships comes the NCAA Midwest Regional Championships. What has to happen in order to advance to that?
We just got to keep doing what we're doing. We've been top 10 in the region all year. Like I said, top 25 in the nation on both sides. We've just got to go on and do what we're capable of doing. Advancing past the regional to the national meet is obviously the big goal for everybody. It would be a huge step in our program on the men's side to get the team there finally, and for the women it would validate what we did last year, and I think moving forward kind of making an expectation of the program every year after.
So if Flyer fans come out this weekend on Saturday to watch the championships, what can they expect to see?
Expect a lot of craziness. Cross country is something that you have to go and see to experience. It can be very, very hectic. At the same time, it can be very exciting. And the nice thing is whereas in volleyball or soccer they have a lot of regular season conference matches and they determine the postseason, this is it for us. This is everything. So it's stressful from a coaching perspective and an athlete's perspective that if you have one bad day, it could kind of mar the whole season. So there's a lot of pressure, and I think you're going to see a lot of special things because of that pressure. It should be a lot of fun. I hope everyone shows up wearing red and is crazy and ready to go.
All right, well, Coach, is there anything else you'd like to add while you're here today?
Yeah, I definitely would love to have as many people out there as possible. Wear red, get crazy. We're going to have a tailgate, a lot of alumni, everybody coming back, show up early. Let's make it as fun and as successful as it can be.
All right, well, thanks, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, Shane. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back, so stay tuned here on Flyer Nation.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough.
constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. The Lewis women's volleyball team split their weekend series against two GLVC teams. Neither of the teams are in the Flyers division, but the loss still impacts the team's overall record. Let's take a look at where the team currently sits. Indianapolis still holds the first place position in the division, while the Flyers are sitting in the number 2 position. McKendree and Southern Indiana are sitting just behind the Flyers, and St. Joseph's and Illinois Springfield continue to sit at the bottom of the division.
Both of our Lewis soccer teams played this weekend in the GLVC tournament, but only the men's team will move on to the semifinal round. Let's take a look at the tournament bracket to see where the Flyers are as they move on. With the win over Rockhurst on Sunday, the Flyers will take on the undefeated Quincy Hawks in the semifinal round. In order to move on, the Flyers must defeat Quincy, and then they'll face the winner of the game between Drury and Indianapolis in the championship round, which will take place next Saturday.
It's time for our weekly Player of the Week awards. This week's Flyer Nation Player of the Week award goes to George Thompson of the Lewis men's soccer team. Thompson scored the only goal in the GLVC quarterfinal matchup against Rockhurst on Sunday to give the Flyers the victory and advance the team into the semifinal round. Thompson has helped the team so far this season, especially in the last few matches of the season.
This week's Flyer Nation Player of the Week award also goes out to Shelby Leonard of the Lewis women's swim team. Leonard helped the team set 2 pool records in her first meet at Lewis and was a part of 4 of the 5 events won by the Flyers. This is the second time we've picked Leonard for this award after she helped the team pick up victories in their matches 2 weeks ago.
2 basketball preseason polls came out last week that determined the favorites to win the GLVC conference this season. The league's coaches voted that Lewis men's basketball team would finish in second place in their division this winter, just behind Bellarmine, which the coaches expect to take the first place position. Meanwhile, the League of Coaches picked the Lewis women's basketball team as the favorites to come in first place in their division. Indianapolis and Southern Indiana are ranked just behind the Flyers in the divisional poll state rankings.
We want to say congratulations to senior Amy Choi of the Lewis women's volleyball team. Over the weekend, Choi was presented with an award for collecting her 2,000th career dig in a Flyers uniform and now holds the school record for digs by a women's volleyball player. She has 2,040 digs after this weekend's matchups.
Well, it was great to see a lot of success not only for the Lewis teams but also individual players over the weekend. Amy Choi holds the school record in digs for a women's volleyball player, so it was good to see her receive that award over the weekend, even though she broke it on Wednesday. But just great to see success as individuals.
Yeah, and I know last week when we talked to Coach Laura Lee Smith, she was saying that there are a lot of individuals that impact the team together. So good to see that from Amy Choi, and definitely throughout the past 4 years, she's been one of the big key players of that team.
Yes, well, congratulations to her. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back here on Flyer Nation.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money.
Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
Both basketball teams will open their seasons on the road this week, while the volleyball and swim teams are at home. Let's take a look at the upcoming game schedule. On Tuesday night, the Lewis women's basketball team will travel to Loyola to take on the Ramblers in an exhibition game. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. You can listen to that game on our radio station, WLRA 88.1 FM. On Thursday night, the Lewis men's basketball team will travel to DePaul to take on the Blue Demons in another exhibition matchup. Tip-off is set for 7:30, and again, you can listen to that game on WLRA 88.1 FM. On Friday, both swim teams are at home taking on Valparaiso at 3 o'clock, while the men's soccer team travels to Quincy to compete in the GLVC tournament semifinal round. And also on Saturday, the women's volleyball team will take on UIS at the Neil Carey Arena. First serve is set for 7 o'clock.
If you can't make it out to see the Flyers play in person, you can always watch their games live here on LUTN Channel 6 or online at lewisflyers.com. This season, our radio station WLRA 88.1 FM is bringing you all of the exhibition games for both Lewis basketball teams. The station will have coverage of the men's games at DePaul and Notre Dame, as well as coverage of the women's games at Loyola and Marquette. Be sure to tune in to catch those games. Well, we have a busy week and weekend ahead of us. Both the basketball teams are hitting the road. Tomorrow, the women's basketball team is taking on Loyola, and then Friday, the men's team is taking on Notre Dame.
Yeah, those are big games against big Division I schools. They're only exhibition games, but they're still big games to watch.
Yeah, they're still exciting to see, and hopefully we'll see a lot of Flyer fans out there.
Hopefully, school's not too far away.
Right.
All right. Well, that will do it for us this week here on Flyer Nation. Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to join us next week right here on LUTN for the latest in Flyer athletics.
From all of us here at Flyer Nation, have a great day.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. We beg to differ. They are snapshots that represent lasting memories, stories to be told for years to come. Our story is one pictured not just with trophies, but with diplomas, friendships, a helping hand. New chapters beginning every season. This is the story of the Great Lakes Valley Conference.